I am worthy. I am abundant. I am infinite. I deserve wealth and success and love. Affirmations have become super popular, and it's no wonder. We've all begun to realize that that little voice in your head, the one that seems to hate you for some reason, yeah, that's got to go. The act of repeating more positive thought processes to yourself sounds like an amazing place to start. If you've been giving this a try for a while, you may have noticed that words are just words without the energy and the power, the intent behind them that actually helps them forge new self beliefs. Hi, I'm Kat. This is Vibrational You, and these are my best practices for supercharging your affirmations. If you're anything like me, when I first started trying to use affirmations, I had had a long history with negative thought processes, depression, anxiety. And even though I was trying to use affirmations to change that, it was like my mind would still fall into depressive cycles and all kinds of negative thoughts would keep cropping back in. And I was starting to get very frustrated with myself. So, the first best practice is one I guarantee you've heard before, which is go easy on yourself and be gentle with yourself in the process. Only I'm going to say it a little bit differently. I'm going to say, understand why it's happening. The mind works like an algorithm. You can imagine it just like your social media platforms, whatever they are. The algorithm picks up on whatever you have been engaging with. So, whatever you're clicking on, commenting on, liking, those are the things that the algorithm is going to bring you more and more of and put them into your feed and put them in front of your face. Whatever it is that you've spent the most time engaging with, those are the things that it thinks you want to see. It's not telling the difference between whether or not you spend all your time clicking on fluffy puppies or whether or not you spend all your time clicking on controversial topics, argumentative people, whatever it is you're choosing to engage with, it just brings you more and more of it. Similarly, your mind isn't discerning between whether or not you're happy or sad. It just knows the ones that you're spending the most time actively engaging in. And this is how depressive cycles form, is when you get in the habit of clicking on those negative thoughts, the algorithm in your mind picks up on it and brings you more and more of those thoughts. It builds those associations, those pathways towards the more negative or painful thought process. Once I realized that, I realized that there was nothing broken about me, that I wasn't messed up in my head, that it was just the algorithm bringing me what it thought I wanted, and I had the power to manually change that. Once I was empowered by realizing how the process worked, I could begin to build other practices that helped me correct it. And I went about it in exactly the same way that I would clear out my social media. The second best practice I'm going to share with you is manually searching for better thoughts and better memories. Just like your social media, you can get to the point where your mental algorithm isn't even showing you positive thoughts. You've got such a subscription base, you're getting notifications about negative thoughts. And the whole feed is nothing but what you're used to clicking on. It's not even showing you other videos or other kinds of content. So I realized if I was going to change it, I had to manually search for something different. Interrupt the algorithm by inputting what I wanted instead. And for me, I had to literally imagine typing into my mind's search bar, all right, find me a time when I was successful. Find me a time when my feelings didn't get hurt. And every time I made a negative association that just floated into my mind, I didn't know where it came from. I had to stop it and go, okay, I remember that. But now we're going to find me a time when that didn't happen, when that wasn't the case. My whole life is not a depressing disaster. There were plenty of times in my life where positive things happened that were fun, successful outcomes, plenty of friends, plenty of people who loved me. My algorithm had just tossed them aside because I hadn't spent my time engaging with them. At first, it was hard to remember them, but they were there. I was able to call up and remember and more positive things and make some more positive associations. Best practice number 3 is going to be change the way you engage with your imagination. Have you noticed? I mean, I noticed that I was engaging more with painful memories, with sorrowful memories, and I wanted to understand why. It was like I was addicted to feeling bad. I started to think about what we consider entertaining as human beings. What types of TV shows do you watch? What types of videos do you click on the internet? We have a sense of drama. It's like if there isn't some sort of conflict, then we can't have a satisfying solution. If you were on Netflix and you saw yourself a TV show on there that was just a beautiful, perfect guy who wakes up in the morning and is perfect and opens the door and standing on his front doorstep is a beautiful, perfect woman or whoever, and they just go about their charmed life and everything is always working out for them, how long would you watch that show for? I wouldn't. I'm busy watching The Walking Dead. So I had to ask myself, am I using my imagination in the same way that I'm choosing my TV shows? Am I thinking that there needs to be some sort of sorrow and heartbreak before there can be a satisfying conclusion? Am I telling myself stories for dramatic effect to entertain myself rather than to build a belief system about myself? I was spending way more of my time in my own imagination, like trying to win an Emmy for some reason, than I was trying to just imagine fun and joy and successful outcomes. It was like I was needing the drama to happen first. Just to be clear, like I'm not trying to sound reductionist about anybody else. If you're feel you may benefit from seeking medical professional advice, please do so. I'm not a doctor. But for me personally, what I realized is that I'm not depressed, I'm just dramatic. Like I've been telling myself dramatic stories in my head about myself for some reason. And I was able to cut out the drama and just go straight to the happy ending. Best practice number 4 is to reevaluate and at least be aware of the people and associations that you have yourself surrounded with. When I used the analogy with myself about clearing out my social media, I realized that I've had people who knew me in middle school, elementary school, people that I knew from previous jobs that were on there. And even though I was becoming somebody different, all of those associations were still there again, cropping up in my feed, cropping up on my Instagram, all of that stuff. The habit is when you're associating with people who knew you as a different person is to backslide into being the person that had that connection with them. And I'm not suggesting that you have to cut people out of your life necessarily, but it is helpful to evaluate it and be aware that some of the people that we have still connections to that are from the past, or even if they're still presently in your personal life around you, may have known a different version of you than the person that you're ready to become. And being able to have a degree of separation from how other people see you, it's okay for them to still be there, but they are an association from your past. And kind of just cutting the energetic tie to it can help a lot for moving forward and being okay being somebody different than you used to be. If people can't relate to you anymore with the new person that you are, that's okay. Learning to be okay with that and letting certain connections move on is healthy and normal for all people in life. And the last best practice that I'm going to share, and I don't know if it's so much a practice as it is a mindset, is realize that you aren't capable of imagining a version of yourself that you're not capable of becoming. Once you've created that energy in your mind and in your imagination, the success you want, the love you want, the wealth that you want, the freedom and the excitement, the satisfaction in life, you already are that person. You just have to let yourself catch up to the person you created in your mind. You wouldn't be able to imagine a you if you didn't have those parts of your personality already in there. Those pieces of you are already there. Allowing your habits in life to catch up with the imagination that you've created is fun and exciting. And if you can think about it in a fun and exciting way, then the whole process becomes a lot easier instead of thinking of it like it's work. If your affirmations are chores, they're not really having the power that you want them to have. Affirmations can be a powerful tool for helping to reshape how we think about ourselves and our lives, but it can feel challenging to use them effectively if we're trying to build those new beliefs out of old energy. These are just some of the practices that I use to help transform the energy underneath my affirmations, to help give them the oomph, the supercharge they need to be building completely new belief structures for me instead of just trying to cover up the old ones. I hope that it was at least entertaining for you, or that you were able to get something out of it, see if it passes the vibe check for you. As always, if you have practices and things you use to affirm your affirmations, drop a comment and let me know. And check back with me because we will upload more spiritually based content and practices. Thanks so much for joining me.